Plants are so much like humans. You know, you've got to give them vitamins.
Take one.
A person or a plant responds better to a situation if it's happy, if it's healthy. When you plant early season soybeans, you get that plant in a scenario and a weather pattern that's different than if you plant them later. It's not near as hot. It's more receptive to the inputs that you'll put into it. I was a cotton farmer. Here in the Mississippi Delta, cotton was king. Cotton was what everyone grew on our better soils. So as soybean prices started to increase and cotton prices started to decrease, we started planting more of our acres in soybeans. And man, the results were just astonishing how much increase in yield you could make when you actually put that time and effort into that crop. There's two types of early. There's early from previous 5 years ago, and then there's the early that we're working on now. So you're going to more in the April 15th range instead of May 15th in our area. You know, that's probably been a 20 bushel increase. We've started taking that to a further level and going into March. 5 years ago, if you told me I was going to plant my beans in March, I would probably tell you were crazy. Today, I kind of get a little disgusted if I don't get them planted in March. You know, that bean can stand a whole lot of bad weather if it's underneath the ground. Once it gets out of the ground, you know, it can still stand a lot worse weather than we thought, but it can't just stand, you know, extreme cold. If you start at the normal time from when my dad planted beans, you know, we were looking at, you know, maybe 55 bushels. We backed that up a month, we were more in the 75 bushel range. We back that up another 2 weeks, you know, we get more in the 85 to 90 bushel range. So, you know, I backed it up even further than that and it starts going down. You know, there's a point of diminishing returns always in anything you do, but our sweet spot is kind of the last half of March and we're picking up maximum yield. I'm gonna say 30 to 35 bushels better than the old standard. And I tell people this all the time, you've got to try it on your own farm and your own management practices and see if it works for you. I always think I'm a pretty smart guy at times, and it's real easy to get knocked in the knees, which happens regularly, and that's why we try so many things. But you know, I tried 1 year on my double crop beans that were planted in June to not put a seed treatment on them. We still got about a 15,000 plants per acre stand increase with the seed treatment. So, you know, my first thing is definitely when you're starting in harsh weather, make sure you've got a seed treatment on there. Make sure you put a fungicide on there. That's something we normally don't put on a soybean. We've seen some really good results out of that fungicide because it's protecting that soybean from diseases while it's still under the soil. Those beans were actually growing and developing a root system underground before they ever emerged to the top of the soil. We had a one-track mind. So the one-track mind was plant the corn, plant the beans, then plant our cotton. And what we've learned, there's enough positive ROI from planting soybeans early. If you have to hire a custom harvester to come in and help you with that, you're still making money. So we've adjusted our planters. We have more planters, we have more sprayers, and more capability of spraying early. We have a lot of resistant weeds down here, so we have to make sure we lay residuals in to take care of these weeds. And so basically more tractors, more planters, more sprayers, and more labor. But when you go back and do the math to it, it always comes out a positive ROI. The biggest piece of advice I would say is be ready to do, you know, multiple things at one time. There's a lot going on when you try to plant early season soybeans. So the planting's a challenge, the labor's a challenge, and then the harvest is a challenge. There's such a wide planting window in soybeans, we tend to want to get lazy and plant those beans after everything's done and we have more time. The biggest adjustment we've had to do is plant that soybean at the same time we're planting corn and even rice, and then harvest all those crops at the same time.